Hi everyone, welcome back to Planet Dirt. My name is Alicia. If you're new, welcome. Today we're going to go over what's growing right now in the greenhouse, which is not much. It is insanely cold outside. We had quite the false spring the last few weeks and it felt amazing, but now we are down to our frigid weather again. I woke up to snow this morning. So we still have quite the chill in the air. So today I'm going to be in the greenhouse. I'm going to be digging up a couple of things, and I wanted to bring you along so that we could talk about the plans that are going to be happening over the next month. What are you doing, little one? Oh my gosh, Leo, what are you doing? What are you doing, little boy? Leo? We're going to start with the raised beds in here. So the last couple of months, we've been dealing with bull issues, which was super not fun. They came in here and they completely destroyed the winter garden that I had going in here. First time I'd ever actually tried to grow a winter garden, and I had some stuff growing and it was about ready to harvest, and then next thing you know, I had some voles come in here, and I'd never seen a vole before. It was very crazy. I will link the video to that one above so that you can check it out if you want to. But they came in, they ate all my beets, they ate all of the cabbage and the carrots that I had growing, and so I dug them up. I got some hardware cloth, this lovely gigantic thing of hardware cloth. So I started with one bed. I started with this bed, and I was able to dig it out. I put down the hardware cloth underneath the bed and filled it back in. And my plan was to go bed by bed by bed and lay the hardware cloth in the bottom and then fill it back up. So I did have to dig out all of my plants that I had. Honestly, there wasn't really that much left because most of the crops had been eaten by the little critters. So there wasn't that much that I needed to dig out, but there hasn't been anything really growing in these beds for the last probably 2 months. So my plan was to keep going, but then my husband's an engineer, so he comes by and he thinks of ways to improve things constantly. That's just how his brain works. And so he came in here and he knows I've been having issues with my in-ground space outside, and a big goal for this upcoming winter was to make sure that the greenhouse actually stayed above freezing. So we don't get a ton of super cold nights. We don't get like below zero here, below 0 Fahrenheit here. So it is very much possible to keep a greenhouse above freezing. It is up against our house, which helps a lot. So generally the greenhouse will stay about 10 degrees warmer than whatever it is outside. We have a couple of weeks here where it gets down into the teens, and then only a couple of days maybe that it gets down into the single digits. So it's definitely possible. And one of the big things that he wants to do is to take these raised beds out of this greenhouse and instead build up raised beds out of stone so that it does stay warmer, because the stone is going to absorb more heat during the day, and then it will slowly release that heat at night and just make sure it's a more consistent temperature in here over the winter. So that is going to help a lot. But that means that that has to happen over the next couple of weeks, because in the greenhouse, I can start planting stuff about a month before my last frost date, which is in about 2 months, which means we have a month to get this completely done. So I had started putting down the hardware cloth. I'm not going to continue because that would be a waste of time for something that we're going to have to dig up again anyway to put the stonework down. So what I'm going to do instead is today I'm going to get in and dig out the last remaining plants out of the raised beds. I had completely ripped up everything, but I learned that celery is quite a feisty little plant. It came back, and honestly, it's not that easy to germinate. I have a couple of celery plants that I've germinated inside, but not nearly as much as I want. It's just super useful. So I'm going to dig out some of the celery I had from last year, put it in a pot, see if I can't keep it going. And then there's also a little bit of cilantro, which the voles had eaten all of the cilantro down to the stubs, so I didn't think it was coming back at all. And then there's also some Swiss chard growing in here that I'm going to dig out, and I'm going to put that in a pot as well so that I can plant it back out once we have the dirt that's actually going to be in here. So I'm going to do that today, and I'm super excited. And then after I do that, I'll take you guys outside and I'll show you where these raised beds are going to end up. Alrighty, so that is taken care of. I have 2 Swiss chards, and I only pulled 1 celery because honestly, the root systems are really crazy on that one. And so I don't know if it's going to survive. I don't know. I could be wrong, but we'll see. I didn't want to take up a bunch of space with, I do have some others germinating. So I do have some other celery seedlings. So it's not the end of the world if this one dies, but I was not expecting the root system to be so crazy. I guess it was growing in there for like almost a year. So I don't know. I just didn't expect it. So I also have all of this lovely cilantro, and I'm just going to take this whole thing inside. Some of it is rooted out, and then some of it I just laid on top, and I'll use that. I'll use that for dinner tonight or something. We'll make tacos or something. I do have, look at the rhubarb. Doesn't it look good? And then I also got, these are the flowers, the lupine flowers. They're looking wonderful. The sweet alyssum is looking glorious. Got some dill over here. Goji berry. Growing awful slow, so I'm really glad I got it started. All right, and then I'm also super excited. I see my first flowers on my strawberries. Now, all of the strawberries I have are ever-bearing, so I honestly don't even know if I should leave these on here. I should probably pick them off, but honestly, there's a lot of leaf growth, so I think I'll just leave those. And then, all right, y'all, so this is the other side of my yard. So the greenhouse is on the south side of my yard. This is the north side, technically, but we have a lot of space, and so I don't know. It's the south side of this fence, if that makes any sense. But this is my long in-ground garden bed, and I did a couple of planting videos earlier this year where I laid out all of my plants and where I want everything to go. But this is the soil that I've had the most trouble growing in because it's just an in-ground bed. And so I've dumped a bunch of compost on it, but it's still not that great. All right, so this is where we're going to put the metal raised beds that are currently in the greenhouse. And I'm going to have to fill them up with soil, but it's going to make this side a lot easier to work in. And this is a lot of growing space. And I can grow vertically over here as well, which is awesome because I can't grow vertically that far in the greenhouse because it's a slanted greenhouse. It's coming off of the house. And so at the end, it's only about 3-4 feet off the ground. So I can't grow up. I can't grow like indeterminate tomatoes in there, which I learned over the last couple of years. So I'm going to have all my indeterminate tomatoes and my tomatillos and all of my squash and pumpkins and things that grow really, really big. I'm going to have all that in this outdoor space this year. And if I have those raised beds out here instead of in the greenhouse, then I'll be able to control the soil a lot better too. So I'm super excited about the new plan. And my husband's very smart. He's a very smart guy. And thank him for coming up with everything. So I'm super excited about the projects over the next coming weeks. And I hope you'll come along to join me. Like, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll see you next time. Bye.